So we are all looking for efficiency. I don't know if I even know what efficiency looks like if I see it, although I think it's got to do something with saving time and doing something right the first time. But whatever efficiency is, it's definitely something that we are all after, because it does result in a lot of things, such as, maybe more time for things that you really want to do, maybe time to spend on things that really matters. Maybe it helps you get to things that you always wanted to do and wanted to implement in your business. Whatever efficiency means for you, there's quite a few ways in which one can actually attain efficiency, and it is something that in business we are always striving to achieve, and there's always that next level and that next level. Well, today we look at two of the ways. I'm not going to get into all of them, but two of the ways. One outsourcing, one technology, and excited to talk to my guests this morning. Good morning. This morning I've got two special guests. We've got Elmarie Fourie from Independent Investment Solutions and Johan Bester from AdviceTech. They are from two of the sponsors of the Global Financial Planning Conference. And we're going to get a little bit into, when I was thinking about like a topic for today, it's not as simple as let's just talk about a product, a system, or a service, or things like that. We really need to look at what are the things that we want to focus on and drive, and the problems that we want to solve. And that's what we're going to do today. So really excited for this and to sort of see how two different things, as I said earlier, outsourcing and technology, can really play a big role in helping us become more efficient. And efficiency means a lot of things, right? So it means anything from driving your profitability to getting back your time, to enjoying more what you're doing, to just focusing on the things that you enjoy doing and not all the other things that needs to get done. So it's really a wide thing. This morning we've got Elmarie with us from the FPI, Elmarie Fourie, doing current affairs. I have Norma back talking around the question around like, where's my focus? Now, my focus means her, you, me, like each one of us. That's what she's talking about. I want to do a brief little recap of the Global Financial Planning Conference. I've got just two announcements this morning, and then we'll get into the conversation with Elmarie and Johan. So let me say a very quick good morning this morning. And first in this morning, this is becoming a race. Who's in first? And it's Mr. Mark Westernford. Good morning, Mark. Awesome to see you. Then we've got Albert Fritz. Good morning. Kobus Klein. Good morning. Thank you very much for that. Yes, it was an amazing, amazing conference. Good morning, Terence. Yeah, thank goodness it is Friday. Then we've got Gavendra. Good morning, Gavendra. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning, all. There you go. Karinel, goeiemorgen. Nice to see you. Tracy, good morning. Joseph, good morning. Nice to see you. Hey, Mark, how are you, man? And we've got Jonita. Good morning, Jonita. I got your message. I'll still answer you, I promise. I've got a million messages and emails and things to get through. Adrian, good morning. Awesome to see you here as well. Alrighty, so it's that time of the morning where we get the show started, and we're going to head on straight over to Elmarie for current affairs.
Good morning, everybody, and I hope you have a fantastic Friday so far. It's a brilliant morning here where I sit. I can see the whole midstream and Midrand, and it's a beautiful day, yet another day for us to make a big difference. Now, I normally start sessions like this with a leadership quote, and I want to start with today's leadership quote, which is, as leaders, and every single person online, we're all leaders, whether you're a mother, father, whether you're in some leadership position in the church or at work, we're all leaders in our own lives. As leaders, we are called to see potential in people when others only see problems, hope when others only see chaos, and opportunities when others see obstacles. And with this, Francois, I actually want to thank you this morning for being the leader in the industry and the financial planning profession that you are. And I want to compliment you being the leader that see potential in other people. And this is specifically around the Global Financial Planning Conference. Thank you for the magnificent sessions that each person actually presented. We were watching Nikki McDonald's session on deliberate mentorship on the big screen in the boardroom at at the FPI. We were having strat sessions, so unfortunately I couldn't watch all the sessions, but I just want to specifically take a few seconds of this 5 minutes, if I may, just to recognize you, Francois, you and your team, and for the difference that you are making in people's lives and for believing in people. So thank you very much. With that, let's just jump straight into the news this morning. I'm sure you've seen the news about Ubank. So the Financial Sector Conduct Authority assures Ubank customers that their deposits remain safe when the bank is under curatorship. Now, what I find a bit strange with this, whenever there's a bank or an FSP that goes under curatorship, everybody says don't panic. But what do people do? They panic and they pull their money out. But on the 16th of May, the Minister of Finance, in consultation with the Prudential Authority, placed Ubank under curatorship with immediate effect. This was done to help protect Ubank's customers and the financial services sector while the bank finds a potential investor to restore its capital portion to an adequate level as required by the Prudential Authority. The FSCA would like to remind Ubank customers that the bank remains open for business as usual. This means that the customers will continue to have access to their money and other services offered by the bank in the ordinary course of business. There is no need for customers to withdraw the money from the bank, and then customers are further urged to continue making payments for their credit facilities. So please, those customers, advise your customers they cannot, should not stop making the repayments towards their credit facilities as per the agreements in place with the bank. It's a legal binding requirement. The curator will keep customers informed of any important developments at the bank. And the FSCA recognizes the important role played by Ubank in providing financial services to mine workers and their families in the rural areas. The FSCA will continue to work closely with the Prudential Authority and the curator to ensure that Ubank's customers remain protected during the curatorship. So that is sad news indeed. But then I want to share with you some sad news that personally for me is a bit of a blow. Because this is a person that has been one of my mentors. I've got about 5 mentors since I stepped into the shoes of the CEO of the FPI. And this person was from day one my mentor, and he confirmed that he will continue to be my mentor even though he has resigned as the CEO of the Financial Planning Standards Board. So yes, there you have it. Noel May, the CEO of the Financial Planning Standards Board, had stepped down. And I'll read your message to the network where he says, I'm writing to notify you of my decision to resign from my position as the CEO of the Financial Planning Standards Board with effect 31 December 2022. So we are very fortunate that we still have Noel. I have monthly mentorship meetings with Noel, and I must say to you that's one of the hour in the month that I see that I look forward to the most. For me, it's normally at night, so I look dead tired when we meet, and for him, it's normally in the morning because he's in Denver and he looks spruchy and ready for the day. And he said it's been a privilege for him to serve the International CFP Certification Program, the Global Financial Planning Profession, and the FPSB for 2 decades. So yes, he's been with the FPSB for 2 decades. And like I said, we are very fortunate. I am very fortunate to have him as a mentor, but he did confirm that he would still, will have those chats still from 2023 onwards. Then just very quickly on IOSCO, I want to really thank all the professional financial planners at the Financial Planning Institute who have partook in the survey that we had. Out of the 900 that responded, a whopping 350 was from South Africa. So well done, FPI members, for participating in the ASCO survey. And maybe just 1 or 2 or 3 things that the survey is looking at. It's looking at dividing and on developing a guidance for complex products that's consistent with that's adopted across the ISCO members. And if you don't know who the ISCO member in South Africa is, it's the FSCA, the Conduct Authority. Something else that they're looking at is the use of credit cards to purchase financial products. I've always had a problem with that, especially the complex products. And then maybe another one, for the sake of time, I'll mention is a cooling off or a period that should be considered for self-directed retail investors when it comes to the purchase of complex products. But Francois, with that, I'll hijack your whole session, but I only have a 5-minute slot. Again, well done on your conference, and thank you for everybody that joined online today. May you have an absolute blessed Friday and enjoy the time with your family this weekend. Over and out. Goodbye.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Leilani. The next up, we've got Norma with Coach's Corner, and today she discusses the question on where is my focus? Yeah, really interesting to hear what's up next. Again, a session customized just for me. I hope you enjoy it with me. Here we go, Norma.
Good morning. With the financial planning conference very fresh in our minds, I thought I'd use that today just to reflect a little bit on the session. So my topic is, where is my focus? So I want to maybe ask the speakers of the conference, where was their focus when they decided to take on this big challenge? So what was the majority of your time spent on? So we deliberately set goals for ourselves and we sign up for these big challenges. And then within like minutes, hours, days, our mind goes to that worst case scenario about what if this happens? What if I stumble over my words? What if no one likes my talk? What if my message doesn't resonate? And then really, if we go to that place, it's really something that doesn't serve us at all. It doesn't help us in any way to move forward, because those questions really causes a little bit of anxiety or maybe overwhelm for us. So really, what other people think has really doesn't have anything actually to do even with us. It is all about them. So why do we want to focus on stuff that we actually don't even have control over? So why don't we rather take that time and spend it on stuff that can make a difference and where actually all our power is? And really, this part that we have control over has two parts. So it is the time leading up to the challenge, and then it's the time after the challenge. So the time leading up to the challenge is really where all my control is. So that is stuff like, what am I thinking? What am I believing about myself? What am I telling myself about this challenge? And then if I tell myself stuff like, I've got this, I'm going to do my best, then that's going to create this feeling of commitment, of like dedication, of certainty. And if I have that certainty, that dedication, that commitment, that is going to drive me to take actions. And those actions look like, I write a speech that speaks to me, that comes from my heart. I tell my story. I rehearse my talk. Maybe I do it 50 times. I make sure my background is neat and tidy. I make sure that my batteries are charged. I make sure that I get my clothing out the night before and know what I'm going to be wearing. I make sure that I'm on time, that my space is quiet. So those are the type of things that we do when we feel that certainty and that dedication and commitment. And then really the result that we create, and the result is our result. It's not what other people are going to think about it. It's the result I create for myself, that I create this amazing experience because I think, I feel, I do, and then I create the experience. So I don't have control of what other people think, what their reactions are, if they like my talk or not. I can only create that result for myself. And then going after the event. So maybe I stumbled over my words. Maybe I had to look down at my notes a couple of times. Maybe I paused a little bit too long. Doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things, because those are really the things that at the end of the day, it's those experiences that make me learn about the things that I'm doing. And I think it's important for us to look at how we treat ourselves after the fact. Am I giving myself negative self-talk? Am I telling myself it wasn't good enough? I should have done it better. My message didn't resonate. I didn't get the award. All of those things doesn't really matter. It matters how we think about it, how we feel, and how we show up to the event. Because if I think at, let's say, myself 5 years into the future, where I may be on a stage where millions of people are listening to me, is this event where I stumbled a little bit over my words, where I had to look down at my notes, does that really matter? So what I want to get across this morning is really Where do we spend most of our time? And is it things that's serving us where we're spending most of our time? And thinking about the stuff that I have control over, because we give such a big weighting to what other people think, how is my message going to land, instead of this part that we have control over, about this message come from my heart, and how can I show up to this event? Because if I'm energized, if I feel excited, if I feel my message have value and I'm worthy and enough, then the chances are other people are going to experience exactly the same. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to talk about this morning. And also, I just want to take a couple of seconds to congratulate Francois and Rizanne for this amazing conference. And you could see the level of the speakers was really, I think, a result of you guys putting so much time and effort, and just the level of support that you gave them. And that was quite evident. So that's it from me. Thank you for listening. I'll be back.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Yeah, guys, let me give you some feedback on the Global Financial Planning Conference. I didn't ask anyone to say anything, so thanks. Yes, man, I don't know, it's amazing like how everything that has been done over almost a year. I mean, the speakers have done all the hard work in the last 5 months. We've been, when the other one finished last year in June, we immediately started talking about when is this going to happen? What's going to happen next? Are we going to do it again? And I can tell you that this is a standing feature. It's going to be definitely coming back next year. Maybe in a better format, maybe bigger. I hope so. But 2 days, doof, just gone. It's amazing how, and I think it's a big lesson for us in a lot of things that we do, is that so much more time goes into prepping, and so much more time goes into trying to make sure everything's right, and that the delivery itself is such a small portion, although it's the absolute pinnacle and the absolute high point of all of this. I mean, that's what it culminates in, right? Jeez, how's that for English words? But it's about that prep. It's about that perseverance. It's about keep on going. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned from this conference is to see people who till the day before, like a week before, go like, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to. And then I had to be tough, and I'm not a tough guy. Eh? In certain things I am, but I'm not hard, and I'm not somebody that's going to go like, nah. But I just thought to myself, these people, if they pull out now, they are going to regret it. They're going to watch other people do this and say, geez, why didn't I just push through? And I'm so happy that they did. There's not one of them that we spoke with after their talk or in the green room or anything like that where they didn't go like, geez, that was amazing. I'm so relieved. I'm so glad that I did this. And really, it was awesome. This year, what we did differently is that we had these green room interviews, which Anna Malaba did, and he was absolutely phenomenal in just, when people spoke just before they went on, or if it's a little bit after their talk, he did so well in just, extracting more information from them, because the talks themselves has been absolutely mind-blowing, like every single one of them. Everyone had either a personal story, a personal connection, or a lesson from the industry or something, but it was so authentic. And I think what made it so freaking amazing, and I mean, people who were there, you're welcome to share, but the 10 minutes, like it goes 10 minutes. And I must say, so there was like sort of a South African leg and a UK leg, or a more international leg. And we managed to sort of finish on time every time, like maybe 7 minutes over here, but we stuck to the time, and we, made changes to make sure that we could stick to the time, which I think you take 80 speakers in 2 days. That's no easy task. So that was definitely not me and Rizanne. That was Adam and his team that sort of made sure that happened. We were here frantically saying that we were talking to each other, and then they would make sure it happened. And but yeah, just a massive team effort. I think some of the outstanding sort of things for me was Francois taught us about that sardines are also fish. That was such a simple concept, but a massive one, specifically in the profession. So that was amazing. Karen just shared the best advice that she never got. Somebody who works in the industry, but who's not a financial planner, and she recently joined the industry sort of, but in a design capacity. I mean, that message was absolutely phenomenal. Mulalo Nemateni said what she wished she knew at 17. You had Wilco Jonker coming on talking about does it matter what you dress like, or does it matter how you service your client, how you look after them? Absolutely brilliant. And then, CJ Smith was absolutely brilliant with his guitar and the sound of life, sound of your life. Makes me think of OFM, I always say, but it was absolutely brilliant what he did. We had, what else have we got here? And Miriam Papa, who spoke about walking the walk, which is so important. It's something that I talk about in the 7 habits to build a fantastic, legendary practice as well. We got to walk the walk. And the way that she positioned this and spoke about this is absolutely, was just mind blowing. And then Martha Kukamuru spoke about that impossible is nothing. I think those are I should actually not be highlighting certain talks because all of them were really, really phenomenal. But these are the ones that sort of jumps to mind. All of these will be available. If you had a ticket, you'll get access to this for the next 12 months. We will let you know via email when they are live on the site. It will be the same site, same password and all of it. Obviously now it's one big stream, so we need to edit it out and separate so that you can choose which talk you want to go and listen to. And then we've got the day of CPD happening on the 1st of June, which is around the corner. That's where you will earn. It's part of the ticket. So that's where you will earn CPD. And you can still get tickets. Like if you still want to go buy a ticket for the Global Financial Planning Conference, you get access to the content as well as to the CPD day. But yeah, it was just an amazing experience. And next year, we're doing it again. Already having a meeting next week to find out what's going to happen. And this is definitely going to be something that you want to look out for next year. And then we will be opening the applications to join the Speaker and Influencer program, which is really what this is all about. It's about developing speakers. It's about helping people get their message out there. It's about having a bigger impact. And this is why we position this as it's not your usual conference. This is absolutely a conference where we give people an opportunity to get onto stage, be it now a real one or a virtual one, deliver a 10-minute talk after they've gone through this process and overcome barriers and limitations and all sorts of stories that we tell ourselves, and then to go forth and conquer. That's really what it is about for us. So it's not about necessarily turning people into professional speakers. At the end of the day, it's about giving people the confidence to go out with their message because they have an important one to share. Alrighty, so that's it for the Global Financial Planning Conference. Thank you for all the support and everybody. We sold 446 tickets, which is absolutely incredible. We're a very small conference. It's a unique conference, unique value proposition. So for us to have that from a South African, that's only South African tickets. I know day one we had far over 1,000 people watch, and then also we're almost on 1,000 people who watched for day two. Day two is always a bit different, but really excited for that and grateful. All right, so let me just got the right music here. Right, so just quick announcements before we get into the conversations. First one on Thursday evening, this coming Thursday, so next week Thursday at 7 p.m. in the evening. We are having the awards evening for Speaker Influencer, and you are all invited. So everybody's invited. It's an open event, so anybody can come and watch. It doesn't matter. We're going to live stream it on YouTube. I will send out the details via WhatsApp and email today still, so that you can go and sort of just RSVP and at least know who's coming. But all the speakers are going to be there. The coaches are going to be there. The whole team is going to be there. And hopefully you will also be there. So please come and join us in celebrating our speakers. All right. And this is going to be a global awards function. So it will be South Africa and international speakers, all of them all in one. Last year we only did South Africa. So this year we're taking it bigger. like we do things here. Then just my second point is the FPI awards for the financial planner of the year. Please remember that you can, or people can now, the public clients can now nominate certified financial planners for this award. And I think that is still open till somewhere the end of the month. So yeah, important that, you know, let your clients know or just help get the words out, etc. There is a link. It's also down in the description below. So fpi.co.za/FPI-awards. And that's where you can nominate financial planners. All right, cool beans. Even if you have a colleague that you want to nominate, you can now do so. So go ahead and do that. Alrighty. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've come to the feature section of the show, and I'm excited to introduce my guests to you. So we're going to start off with Elmarie, and we're going to talk about outsourcing with her. So before I do, let's start this properly. Good morning, Elmarie.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So, I mean, obviously, we talk about efficiency today, and a big part of being efficient is, you know, outsourcing. It's one of the things. It's not the thing. I think it's one of the things, and one needs to sort of figure out whether it's going to work for you or not. But I want to talk specifically around investments this morning with you, because there's a lot of processes around investments, etc. And when it comes to investments, I mean, like you have the fortunate position to work with a lot of financial services providers. I mean, where are you seeing that FSPs and advisors are maybe finding it difficult to be efficient when it comes to investments?
Yeah, thank you, Francois, for having me. I think, you know, being a financial advisor, you don't only have one role. I mean, you need to look after the client's full situation, having life cover, medical aid. Investment is only one of the sectors that you actually look after. So with all the hundreds of, you know, investment funds available out there, it's becoming such a difficult task to keep up with, you know, regulation. Are you doing your due diligence within all of these funds? How do you do it? Where do you find the time in a day to actually sit down, look at all of the hundreds of funds available and decide this is the portfolio I'm going to construct for client A, B, C, D, and then, you know, having to manage these funds constantly. It's a massive task and responsibility. And it can, you know, put your practice under risk if you don't have mechanisms to be able to keep up with all of these required, you know, regulation.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you start thinking about like what can be some reasons that's driving all of this, because it feels like, I don't know if you find this, but if you talk to advisors, it feels like there's just more responsibility, more accountability. As you said, the regulation, compliance, like all this stuff. And there's just more and more and more things that we need to do. We need to report every single month. We need to do like all these amazing things, which obviously now talk about efficiency detracts us from the thing that we actually should be doing, and that is helping and talking to clients. I mean, are there other reasons that you can maybe think of that's, you know, why they're finding it so difficult?
I think, Francois, as you mentioned, it's mainly a time constraint. I mean, if you look at what the compliance requirements are, you need to have a risk management plan that's a whole book. I mean, you need to have so many documents, processes in place. I don't know, to keep up with all of that, I think it's mainly a time constraint. And it's difficult, you know, you want to service your clients to the best of your ability, but it's really, you know, a difficult task at this point.
And yeah, I agree with you fully. It's definitely, all of these things are just, I don't have the time to get to stuff. And, you know, I think you mentioned earlier about there's so many funds, there's new products all the time. You know, fund managers change, you know, the actual like portfolio manager at the asset manager, they change, they move around. And just to keep on top of all of these things and ensuring that you're not the one just using the flavor of the month or sort of hearing something and seeing something doing well, that's what we go after, thinking about things like house views and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, let me not get into that. But it is really, really important that all of these things are considered. If we don't have time, it now becomes a huge stress. Like, what do we not know? What are we missing out on? Now, I know that one of the ways, as I mentioned earlier, to create efficiency is through outsourcing. And if we talk about outsourcing, it means either your entire process or some of the process, or your entire business or some of the business areas. Maybe you don't have people that can do that, or maybe you don't have the expertise, or maybe you don't want to do that. Then outsourcing is a great way to sort of get help from those people who do love doing those things and who do have the resources and expertise to be able to do that. But why is a DFM solution, so discretionary fund management, why is that a good option if I want to consider outsourcing part of my investment process out of my FSP?
So the purpose of a DFM is to actively and efficiently manage clients' money. A DFM is an expert in the field of investment management. The amount of what shall I call it? Sorry for that.
No worries.
Yeah, like I say, this is what they do every day. So they do research. They have daily, weekly, monthly meetings with asset managers to see what is actually happening inside a particular fund. The DFM has got access to the fund manager. A normal IFA will find it difficult to actually sit down with the asset manager and ask him, okay, Mr. Francois, what are you doing within your fund? What changes have you made within your asset allocation recently? The war. Did you do anything specifically? The DFM can actually go to the asset manager and ask these questions. They do a proper quantitative, qualitative analysis before they actually include a fund into a portfolio. And yeah, this is what they do daily. So I don't know why you wouldn't include a DFM in your practice. For the reasons mentioned.
Yeah, and if I want to, because it is also about good fit, right? So is it something I should do, want to do, must do? So what are some key questions do you think that an FSP or anybody out there sort of thinking about this, what are some of the key questions that they can ask themselves to determine whether they should be considering this and why it might be a good fit?
I think firstly, how many clients' portfolios are you currently managing on a bespoke basis? Do you have the expertise? Are you keeping up with all the changes within the funds that you are using? How do you do the due diligence? If there is a client complaint, how will you actually prove that you've been actively managing these portfolios on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? The reviews. On your review, are you confident that you're still within your client's risk profile? And are you confident that, fund A, B, or C didn't make major changes that you were unaware of? So also, how quickly can you actually rebalance everybody's portfolios? I remember the start of COVID, people wanted to move to cash quickly. And it was a question of, does your client have, electronic means? We couldn't go out and visit a client, so everything had to be done, electronically. So what is the risk in your practice if you should need to urgently do rebalancings and switchings? Can you do it automatically like a DFM can? A DFM can do, automated switches with the required signed client mandate. Is your practice, do you have the ability to actually do that? If you're looking at funds cost, are you getting the best fund class fee in your portfolios that you have constructed yourself? A DFM gets institutional pricing due to scale. So 9 out of 10 times, if you look at your own constructed portfolio compared to a DFM solution, you would actually be saving your client money by handing it over to a team of experts. And then, I think to really sit back and look at your practice and decide if, why would you not consider using a DFM? Do you feel that you've got all the required expertise in your own team to actually give the best back to your client?
Yeah. And those are very compelling reasons and things to consider to see. So, Elmarie, you work with Independent Investment Solutions. You're the head of business development there, or I Squared Solutions for those lazy ones of us out there who don't want to say all the words. It's I Squared Solutions. And when you're, as I say, you provide these DFM services. What do you offer FSPs and advisors?
So, firstly, our investment committee is totally independent. I think when you do consider using a DFM, you should be absolutely certain what is inside your DFM. Who are the people behind it? Are there any own funds being used, or is it clear cut, completely transparent? Do you know what you're getting into? So that's very important when you do consider a DFM. So we are totally independent. We offer risk profile portfolios locally as well as globally across multiple list platforms. By using active and passive elements, we can keep costing quite low, like I mentioned. Also, the optimization of fund fee classes. We do additional value adds because we want our IFAs that partner with us. We want them to actually get a real value benefit from our DFM. So not only do we actively manage these portfolios that we have been doing for the past, it would now be in June, 6 years. So we've got a decent track record, you know exactly what's going on. We've got a team of experts, like I mentioned, 90 plus year, experience in this field. So on top of that, we also offer you practice management type of tools. So we give you an advisor portal that includes things like automated assets under management reporting, compliance-related reports and tools. We've got a proposal builder. We've got deal-branded weekly newsletters that you can automatically send out to your clients. So constant contact with your client, even though, you're not actually doing the work. We do that on your behalf. We give you a monthly advisor pack with all the updated fund fact sheets, economic overviews, constant, if we do make changes within the portfolios, we communicate the reasoning behind it. And we just normally try to keep you up to date with what's happening in, market and economic environment. And provide you with tools in order to service your client better and also give your client the best value for money.
Geez, that is a mouthful. So definitely, if you can get rid of all of
but we don't have enough time for all of it.
But wait, there's more. Elmarie, it's amazing. Just imagine all these things that I don't have to do is out of my practice, and fantastic. Yeah. What can I do with that time? Because at the moment, a lot of advisors or FSPs need to do this themselves. And a lot of it is sort of something that is repetitive in one way. It's things that, can, and again, getting experts involved can really, really help with that. Just very quickly, which platforms are your funds available on?
Okay, so basically we're available on most of the platforms. I'm just going to quickly name a couple: AIMS, Allan Gray, Credo, International, CIG, Discovery Invest, Momentum Wealth, 91, Old Mutual Wealth, PPS, Sanlam Glacier, Stanlip, iRetire, and the list is growing. So we offer standardized solutions across all of these platforms, which makes it easy for you to actually implement your client's investment plan across multiple platforms. So if you select a I-squared moderate on Sanlam Glacier and you select it on Momentum Wealth, the package inside is exactly the same. So that's where awesome. We are available.
Great stuff. Elmarie, where can people learn more and get hold of you?
Okay, so just to mention quickly, if anybody wants to go onto a quote system and search for us, you won't be able to see our solutions in a quote package unless you've actually partnered with us and we've opened up the solutions for you. So if you want to have a look at these, you can contact me on my cell phone number, 082-454-7048, or you can email me, elmarie@i2solutions.co.za.
Awesome. I've got the website address on there, and also you can also connect with on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely everywhere. So Elmarie, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Wishing you well. Have a good weekend, and thanks for being a part of the Global Financial Planning Conference.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, and hopefully we'll chat soon. Have a good weekend yourself. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Alrighty. So next up, we have Johan Bester. So Johan Bester is from AdviceTech, and Johan will join me here on screen momentarily. There we go. Good morning, Johan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Francois. Thank you for having me.
It's a big, big pleasure. Righty, so now we get into the other topic, which is quite exciting for me because we want to talk about technology. Now, obviously, technology is a huge driver for efficiency, but I've got a high-level, higher-grade question for you, something that I've been thinking about the last while, and something that I think is mind-blowing. If you really sit down and think about it, this is mind-blowing. Like, because in today's day and age, we have all the tech you can think about. We have the most amazing things. We have integration. We have all these things that are just freaking amazing. Every time you see something, it's like, wow, that is just amazing. So this tech, there's a lot of tech that exists today, but and what I don't get is that, why do we still have people searching and they keep on looking for new solutions? Even when they've implemented something, they go like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to implement this. Then they implement it, and then a year later, they start looking for something new. Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a phenomenon in today's society, not just in this industry. And I think to some extent it comes down to the pursuit of perfection. So we've got constantly changing requirements, regulatory compliance, customer expectations, how you do service delivery, and all of that sort of thing. And a tool looks absolutely amazing, a system looks amazing, and then reality sets in. And there's always a couple of things. Okay, here you can do a little, something a little bit different. Here you can do something a little bit better. And everything can always be better, whether it's a little bit faster, whether it's a little bit easier, or just a new perspective in a method of doing something. And I think all of the changes in requirements, as well as of course just finding something new, is a constant drive in the processes we do, but also in the systems we use. So I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where where we stop getting new systems, because there's always just something new, but hopefully is obviously a massive overhead in terms of implementing systems. So hopefully getting a solution that is fairly time-proof it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a million questions running through my mind, but I won't throw them at you. We don't have enough time. I think, what's the latest and the greatest and sort of the most prettiest system, and what do I have that nobody else has got, because we believe that what gives us the edge. There's so many things I think that people tell themselves, and then still, I saw some insights recently where it looks like the number one thing or the number one consideration when choosing technology is price in South Africa, it blows my mind. It's the last thing you should consider, because price doesn't make that system a good fit for you. So I just want to throw that little bit in there to add on to what you said. But then also you think about in South Africa, we've got, I don't know how many FSPs we've got. We've got massive ones and we've got very small ones, and everything in between. Why do they struggle so much to gain efficiency with the technology that they're already using?
Yeah, so I mean that's a very complex issue, and a lot of that also goes towards the process that is in place and things like that. But focusing on the technology side of things, there are so many business silos to run a business in general, but a financial practice, advisory practice, and there are so many tools for each silo of that, niche tools and everything, but getting a single view of your data is an issue, and trusting your data, getting that data integrity. There are inevitably, if you've got multiple business silos, multiple business systems, you've got many sources of information. So combining those sources and combining the information and the data, that's really where the synergy sits. And I think, there's a lot of, regardless of the size and how many business silos or business systems you use for this stuff, you're sitting with an issue and a loss of efficiency because of just pulling all of this data and everything together. And I think, another big factor is time, time related to discipline. You never have enough time to always get to everything that you need to do. So being disciplined and doing sticking to your process and doing what is necessary, I think is absolutely key. You can have the greatest tool, but if you don't give it the information that it needs inside of that tool, you're always going to sit with lack of efficiency. But yeah, lots of different points we can touch on in terms of that, but let's stick to those for now.
Yeah. And another, I think a mistake that people make and advisors make and business owners and franchise principals and whoever is making these decisions to purchase specific software and to implement specific software or to change the systems and things that they're using is that the expectation is that it must just be easy to use. The expectation is when I get my login, I must just be able to use it. But it doesn't work that. No software works that way. Have you ever bought any piece of software except Angry Birds, probably, which is a game where you needed to not need to learn? So there's not just monetary investment that needs to be made. There's blood, sweat, and tear investment, and there's commitment, and there's time, and there's all the stuff that you also need to understand that you're going to invest into adopting the system, because deciding on a system, making sure it's fit for your business. I mean, were you really that wrong when you decided I'm going to implement this system and now 6 months later it's not working for me? Were you that wrong when you made the decision out of all the decisions you could have made? Like, I doubt that. The problem probably lies in the fact that we didn't spend the time we were supposed to spend to get to know the system. We didn't train the people in the way that we should have, and that's it with both the software provider and the FSP as much. I've seen big corporates move from one system to the next, because they can't get people to adopt the system, But anyway, so that's a whole discussion on its own as well. So I'm not going to go down that route, but I also want to add that to the conversation and just make people think about this, plant a little seed, because we need to talk about this. When I'm deciding on, let's just say, on the one hand, I've got no software, I've got no system. On the other hand, I've got a system, okay? And I'm thinking like, oh, do I need to change? What do I need to do? I want to know what in your opinion, what is the most important thing to focus on? What is the gain for me as the FSP? In other words, what efficiencies can I create for me? How much money can this make for me? How is this going to make my life easier? Blah, 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 versus the gains for the client. Like, do I look at it from what is this system going to create in terms of customer experience? What is it going to do for the client? Which approach do you think is key in choosing the right system?
Yeah, so that's sort of like asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. So
I do things like that.
I think there's a big factor of the one can't exist without the other one. So it all depends again on how it's structured at the moment. But if you, from an advisor's perspective, you need to get certain things. There's sort of a minimum viable product, if I can call it like that you need to actually properly take care of your clients. Then there's also this constant drive in terms of change of what your clients actually expect from advice and from an advisor. So there's definitely two parts to it, and I would say it's a trade-off on how your clients segmentation looks, and the type of service you want to offer. But I would say that golden balance would be somewhere in the middle, and if you don't need to choose, that's absolutely ideal, and that's definitely something at AdviceTech that we try to offer, is sort of that balance between, yes, you as advisor get all of the reporting and everything that you need, but at the same time also that your clients actually get involved in the planning process and also get the reporting that they need. So sort of this in the middle, where both can actually gain from the single system you use.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to plug in my laptop. I'm very sorry. Give me 1 second. This thing just said battery low. Jeez, I got a fright now. Sorry, you are. Everything's plugged in, but I never plugged the power supply in at the bottom. Those are so much fun. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so
I was just wondering if it was something I said.
Yeah. I'm now sorry. I'm climbing underneath the table. I can't. Yeah, Johan. No, it's like on this show we have fun. Trust me. That's what it's all about. So, I mean, what are some of the key, or what is the key, or what are some of the keys for FSPs if they want to unlock efficiency through technology? What are some of the things they, that could really go a long way in helping them unlock that efficiency?
Yes, only if there was that big single magic key that just turned on everything. Yeah, but nobody would need anything. That would be terrible. But I think there's definitely a couple of let's call them golden levers that you can sort of pull, and those golden levers will obviously differ from advisory to advisory, but there's a couple of key ones that will always be the same in everywhere, regardless of the variables and the technology. Well, in the technology is always one of those golden levers. So data is obviously everything in life today, but specifically in the financial advisory space. That's what you base all of your decisions and how things are going and all of that sort of thing on. So choosing a system that can contextualize and integrate your data and your information that you actually gather is absolutely key, as well as a system that can carry your brand and speak to how do you engage with your clients, how do you enhance that client engagement and so forth, as well as making a client part of the planning process is, I believe, absolutely massive golden lever. So choosing a system that can sort of cater to these needs will definitely drive efficiency, and focusing on that single, doing the small things that you there's always going to be some manual input you need to do into a system from a client-based perspective, and maintaining that and so forth, but actually absolutely maximizing the amount of value you can get from the little pieces of things you do, and not having to redo things. Definitely from a time perspective, a massive golden lever, and call it a key if you want.
Yeah. These days, I don't know, like maybe a QR code, or we can't talk about keys anymore. Awesome. Johan, I mean, AdviceTech has been making waves recently. I've run into you guys long before I knew who you were. Started hearing about AdviceTech. And I want to know, what do you offer that sets you apart from other systems that advisors currently use?
I would say, if I had to sum it up in 3 words, I would say it's a single integrated platform. Now, what that actually means is where the value comes out. But it's a single point of truth. It's a single point of maintenance. It's really focusing on capitalizing the admin tasks and admin effort that you have to do, and maximizing the value you can that by cross-checking your information from your AUM and commission imports and reporting that you need in any case, that actually checking your active client base, making sure it is up to date, just all of these different sources of information that that's a reality from your different providers and so forth, but actually overlaying that on top of each other and showing you exceptions that you can actually more efficiently and better manage that. And then the two other things, advisor-centric design. So as part of our initial build, as well as our ongoing enhancements and so forth, that is built by advisors for advisors, so constant input from the industry. What are these changing things, and building that in, as well as never sacrificing on simplicity, never sacrificing on ease of use, because that's when things shortcuts are being taken, steps are skipped, and so forth. So that's really a couple of things that AdviceTech really tries to focus on, and the feedback from the industry has been great. So yeah, we're very happy about that.
Always good. And can the system help me with anything to connect with my client apart from sending reports and things like that? Is there something I can give my clients?
Yeah, so obviously with this change in what customers actually expect, there's a lot of different interfaces that we actually have. We've got built-in newsletters. We provide a weekly market note that you can send out branded as your stuff to your client base. A lot of different birthday, anniversary, passport expiry, all of these document reminders, as well as then an integrated client portal. So each client can get a portal. You can activate that portal. It gives them a secure place that they can see all of their documents, they can see all of their financial portfolio, as well as updates from your AUM and your feeds, see that constant, on a daily basis, even if you've got daily feeds and things like that. They can do their budgets, they can see all of these type of things. So really an interface where they can manage their financial life and manage this interface to you. So really making them part of the planning process as well. And again, great feedback we've been receiving in terms of that, all carrying your brand, of course, because brand is absolutely critical in today's age.
Yes, absolutely. Johan, thank you very much, and thank you to AdviceTech for being a sponsor of the Global Financial Planning Conference. And where can FSPs and advisors learn more about AdviceTech?
So the website is always a great place to start. There's a nice video taking you through everything, lots of features, lots of what we are about, our value proposition, and so forth. And then of course making contact with us. All of the information is there on the website, whether it's booking a demo or just having a couple of discussions. We love to have discussions with all of the different practices, finding out how they do things, finding out what their golden levers are, because that essentially shapes the future of how AdviceTech also grows and enhances that constant, just keeping up with what is required in the marketplace.
Awesome. Johan, thank you very much for your time today. It was intriguing to chat to you. There's a lot of things we can touch on. Like I want to maybe in future chat to you about data. I want to talk to you more about those other things that I threw into the pot. But for now, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being on the show. And as I said, for both Independent Investment Solutions and AdviceTech to being a sponsor of the Global Financial Planning Conference. We appreciate you very much.
Great. Thank you for the platform. It's been a great experience.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Cheers, Johan.
Cheers.
All right. So with that, let me just end off this segment. I always forget to end off the segment. All right, so next week, my guest is none other than Kobus Klein. And Kobus and I are going to talk about some very interesting things he's been up to, so I'm not going to give it away right now, but I'm very excited for this. This is something different again. His first episode, which we did way back in season 1, has the most views almost on this channel, and it's just been absolutely popular with a lot of people, where we spoke about how do you create client advocacy, and definitely something to go check out. I think, don't keep me to it, I think it was episode 29 of Virtual Coffee with Francois. So season 1, episode 29, go have a look at that in the meantime. But Kobus he's been doing some very interesting, thought-provoking and leading stuff. He's an early adopter, specifically when it comes to technology. So he's going to share what he's lately been up to. So really excited for that. So that means we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember to raise the bar. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.